Namaste, Namaha. Welcome to your 5 minutes of self. So today I'd like to speak to you about how to deal in very shocking, traumatic moments, how to deal with that situation and how to calm down your nervous system, especially when you go into a state of panic and even an anxiety attack. So sometimes in life, we do come across like moments which are out of our control. And we get surprised. We literally get hit, just hit by a truck and you don't know where it comes from. And these moments, in order for us to find really clarity before we act, before we respond or react, is to take a moment to find homeostasis in your nervous system. This is really important because we have the tendency to act really quickly. We have the tendency to panic, but this won't help us. So number one thing, once you hear the news, to give yourself and take a moment to digest what has happened. And most likely your mind is going 100 miles an hour. Using your breath, deep inhalation and exhalations. I would not even say deep. It's just a complete breath. It's this moment when you feel like, okay, I'm short on breath, and that's sometimes why people hyperventilate. And the technique that we have in yoga is pretty much taking an inhalation through the nose and also exhaling through the nose. But you can also exhale through the mouth if this makes you feel more relieved. But once you focus on your breath, you're able to redirect your attention to the breath that allows you to just focus on that particular specific moment and be in the present moment. Because what is it really how we react and we get shocked? It is a trigger, a trauma that has been triggered, and we have experienced that specific emotion in the past already. Emotions are energy in motion that are held within our body. And when we experience something in a present moment, we tend to trigger that old emotion from the past. And we only know how an emotion feels because we have experienced it in the past. So which means your body is in a state of being in the past and not in the present moment. So how do you recondition your body that it stays in the present moment and doesn't get triggered, and the traumas don't trigger the specific reaction in the present moment? By, yes, consciousness, practice, meditation, and your breath. So number one is your breathing, super important. Number two is taking time out and step back. And it's something that I just spoke to really my bestie today about. Grieving and mourning is so important to get in touch with these feelings inside of ourselves and deal with them rather than suppress them, pushing them down, rather than ignoring them. Go inside, feel it, grieve, mourn. Very important. Number three, to gain perspective, we step back, grieve, and mourn, and then journal. Write everything down that you have in your mind, in your head, and scenarios how you would have reacted differently, and just get it on paper. And physically see what is happening there. What have you just written down? Go through it. And to gain a full perspective of the situation that just happened. Now, we have the tendency as human beings to go into assumption. This could have happened. This is why it happened. Maybe this is because of this. Actually, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What happened, happened. and we just need to let it go, surrender, and accept it. What is the next step? Where do you want to be in the future? And that's where, again, meditation kicks in, because if you visualize where you want to be in the future and you can feel that specific emotion, how it feels like, how you want to feel joyous or gratitude or abundance or freedom inside, that's where meditation kicks in. And that's how you can switch your vibration and energy, because this is a whole quantum field, a unified field around us. And we are all connected to each other, which means sometimes you notice when you're sitting next to someone and this person is very anxious, whether this anxiety comes from this person or from you, and you cannot distinguish it. But since when you have a steady meditation practice and you have a steady self-care practice, and you have this awareness level that you notice, like, actually, this is not my anxiety, that is this person's anxiety. And how can you then know how you can distinguish yourself from it and protect yourself from it. And this is very important, because especially when you're a highly sensitive empath, and there are many of us out there, and we have all experienced trauma and shock situations. Either we have lost something or someone that was so dear to us in our life, and we cannot do anything about it. And it maybe feels so unjust at that very moment. And I know how that feels like. And we have these moments where we go through shock, grief, and then you go through anger. You need to catalyze all these emotions, step into them, feel them deeply, let them go, and then constructive responses will take place. And during these past weeks, and we have Mercury retrograde at the moment, we maybe notice that certain things don't work the way how they work, and they trigger us on a daily basis. If it's technology, travel, communication, especially in relationships, that we get stressed. And the more we get stressed, and the more we reinforce the stress by taking substances, alcohol, cigarettes, high sugar foods, that will worsen your state of equilibrium, homeostasis in your nervous system, and you increase your stress level. And people don't even realize that. So drinking, for instance, coffee, and you have anxiety, let go of coffee. Let go of caffeine and caffeine. If you already feel depressed and have anxiety levels, be careful with alcohol. Be careful with cigarettes. Everything lowers your vibration. That means you can also not respond and control your own thoughts, your mind, your bodily responses, the way how it would be optimal to respond to really traumatic experiences. I hope this makes sense. Namaste.